Today I'm going to show you 10 new knives that I recently picked up from 10 different brands. And the prices are all over the place. I mean, there's some budget stuff on there that costs as low as $40. Premium knives that top out way up at $250. I know that's a lot of money. It's okay. I ate last week. There's even a fixed blade on the list. So yeah, I really do have something for everybody today. And as usual, the links to buy, the prices, and coupon codes all be listed for you down in the description. This time I figured we could go ahead and start with the most expensive knives, and then we'll work our way down to the least. If this is your first time here, hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm Jay. Now go ahead and consider subscribing if you're looking for knife reviews. They get right to the point. All right, let's get going. Number 10, I got a Benchmade. This is the 490 Arcane. Now, I've had my eye on this knife for a while now, but the $245 price tag, yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't pulled the trigger until now. Now, this knife has like two main attractions. It's got just a very, very thin S90V blade, and as you might have already noticed, it's got Benchmade's, axis assist openings. Now, those of you that don't know, S90V is it's one of those rare steels that has really high hardness, but it's also really, really tough. It's often compared to like M4, but, with way better corrosion resistance. Now, this assisted opening feature, combined with a very small, look at that. That is just a tiny, tiny little flipper tab. It really does kind of make it almost feel like it's an automatic knife. Now, the most common complaints that I've always heard about this is, well, the lack of handle traction, and there's blade play. This is the Spyderco Smock in M4. This version was actually a limited run, so on the secondary market is really going to be the only way to get your hands on one of them. I did end up paying a little over the retail price of $182. It wasn't too much more. I think I paid about $220 for it, but still, they made a little bit of money. Now the version with the black, there's another one with a black DLC blade finish. That one costs even more than this. Now, since M4, it's not a stainless steel, but I'm in Illinois, so it's not a humid climate, so I'm really not worried about the corrosion. I just went ahead and I put on like a thin coat of that Tough Glide. I put a thin coat of that on it every once in a while. Now, when I ordered this, I was totally planning on buying some aftermarket scales for it. But you know what? This natural G10, it's kind of grown on me. So I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and leave them on there. Number 8, and in titanium. Oh yeah, this is the KAISER ROACH. Yes, this one is that it's that fancy, that's fancy bladesmith version with the it's got an S35VN blade that I know for a fact that it has been discontinued. At least that's what it says on Blade HQ. But as of today, I did go ahead and check, and there are still some available on Amazon, so you can still buy them. I don't know what it is, but I always just kind of had a thing for this super wide blade. Now, I know this is far from the most practical knife out there. Come on, it weighs almost 7 ounces, and it's a friggin', this is a pocket hog. And I don't think that there's even any skeletonization inside. Let me take a look. No, there sure isn't. Oh man, there's something to be said for a big heavy knife, that makes no attempt at weight reduction. It's like they're saying, yeah, it's big, so what? I kind of like that attitude. It's unapologetically heavy. Number 7 is going to be a Knife Center exclusive. This is the Andrew Demko AD 20.5. Yep, the time has come where, yeah, I finally got one. I was kind of holding out for a version with something other than AUS 10 blade steel. I know that I shouldn't base the price of a knife on just the type of steel that it has, but it was really tough to justify spending $150 on a knife with a D2 blade. Oh yeah, and the hype over this shark lock, yeah, it is. It's definitely justified because this thing really is a good time. But I have quickly learned there's a right way and there's a wrong way to operate it. Yeah, at first this thing really was. It was hurting my finger to close the blade because what I was doing, and I'm assuming that some of you are, is using just the tip of my finger to kind of operate that lock. Man, that is really tough to do. But after like a few painful days later, I figured out what you need to do is just kind of use the pad of your index finger. So you see where that divot area is right in front? Here's what I do. I just kind of take my finger, I slide it down the back into that divot area, and then it just kind of jams the meat of my finger like underneath that locking tab. I forgot I didn't show you the opening action because the opening action is just as nice. You see that? It's like the blade just flies out with an effortless thumb flick. No wrist needed. Number 6, here's that fixed blade. This is the SE4 and S35VN. I went ahead and got this because I really like the idea of having a fixed blade with Stonewashed S35VN blade. I mean, I have plenty of folders with that steel, and it's always been good to me. And I gotta tell you, I was surprised to see that the only differences between the 3 and the 4 here is going to be, well, the blade length, and check this out. Yeah, that thickness. You can see the 4 is way thicker. So now look at this, because the handle and the finger choil, even the width of the blades, you can see when they're stacked, one on top of the other, they are exactly the same. Oh, and let's not forget about their lifetime, like no questions asked warranty. Now, I am really not a fan of this plastic sheath that it comes with, because if you look on the inside there, it's got these 2 tabs, and yeah, they're on both sides that really, they need to be sanded down a little bit, because this thing, once I click that knife into the sheath, it is damn near impossible to get out. Number 5 is going to be a new brand to the channel. This is the Vosteed Nightshade. This company actually went ahead and they reached out to me a while back and wanted to, they wanted to see if I'd be interested in taking a look at this knife. I'm really glad I did, because it is a really well-made little folder. Now there's 2 versions of this. Now mine is the one with the I got the copper bolsters with the micarta scales, but there's also one with brass and black G10. We get a very unique and very wide, like full flat ground, 3.26 inch kukri style of blade shape in, oh yeah, M390 with a crown spine. Now it has it's going to be just a 1 position deep carry pocket clip, but hey, at least it is in fact titanium, and yeah, look at that. It's even recessed into the micarta. But wait until you see this action on this thing, because it's incredible. Watch this. I have been really trying to get this deployment to fail, but I can't get it to. And it doesn't matter how lightly I push on this flipper tab, that blade just shoots out. And it is so obvious that no shortcuts were taken when they made this knife. Now, keep in mind, okay, it is going to be, so it's premium materials are going to come with a premium price tag. So you can pick these up for around $129. Number 4 is going to be a TUCSON. This is the TS383. So you ever get that knife with a with a blade shape that's just so beautiful that you keep taking it out of your pocket, opening it up just to kind of stare at it? Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing with this thing ever since I got it. Now it's definitely a full size knife with that's about a 3.6 inch flat ground clip point. It's a very subtle clip point in 14C 28N Samdic steel. Now, at first, when I saw this, I thought, oh, great. Look at the friggin' inserts fell off of the handle, and they're not even in the box. Well, I realize now that those sections with the holes were intentionally left open like that. Yeah, on both sides, which I do kind of like because it actually helps. It actually helps like improve the grip while I'm opening the knife. Now the action, both directions is, yeah, just incredible. And they did pay attention to that flipper tab. You can see they kept it pretty small. Now I don't usually care for like the milled titanium pocket clips, but this one I like because it has just, yeah, it's got just the right amount of tension. So this thing is super easy to get in and out of pocket. But unfortunately, there is an issue here that I was heartbroken to find. Because if you look at the spine while it's closed, you can clearly see the blade. Well, you can also clearly touch that blade. Yeah, I can totally feel like the edge while it's closed, and it's not just in the one spot, right there at the sharpening choil. It is actually, I can keep touching it all the way down, till about like the halfway point. Number 3 from SRM, this is the 7228. I've actually seen this one available in like a few different colors and in 2 different sizes. So there's a smaller one, has like a 2.72 inch blade, and that one is made out of D2 steel. But this is the one with the 3.62 inch blade, and they actually are using VG10 steel on the blade. Now, I really do I like this drop point blade shape. It's got like that really wide profile, and look at that nice big belly as you get towards the tip. Now that fuller, you notice that fuller, it does appear on both sides. Unfortunately, let me show you this. Unfortunately, it is just purely decorative because, I'm not able, there's not enough of it exposed to be able to even use it as an opening option. The action is just, it's okay. It does take, it takes me a little bit of risk to open the blade. And so far, it's not dropping shut, when I release that axis lock. So when I disengage it, I have to just give it, I got to give it like a slight shake to get it to close. Again, not a huge deal. I'm sure it's going to break in, but that's how it is right now. The big deal with this knife is the 2-position pocket clip. It actually has the ability to like be moved without using like a Torx bit. Now I brought you in really close so I can try and demonstrate it for you, but you can see here's what you do is you actually you see how the metal is kind of split down the center. So all you do is you kind of just like you squeeze this together, and then that releases the like tabs inside. So then you can go ahead. Yeah, there you go. Then you go ahead and then you just, pull it out. Number 2, how about a SunCut? This one is the Natchez. This knife, it really does kind of remind me, I don't know, what do you think? Kind of reminds me of the Civivi bow. So if you like that knife, but you always wished it was a little bit bigger, well, here you go. Because we get it's a 3.2 inch full flat ground satin finished blade in 10CR 15 steel. Now, I really wish, remember the Scepter? Man, I wish they would have made the Scepter this size. This micarta, it actually feels pretty darn nice. It's not that smooth, like cheap feeling stuff. It actually is, it's actually very grippy. And they really paid attention to the flipper tab size here because, look at that. I love that when they kind of keep it small like that so then it doesn't get in the way when you're cutting on a flat surface. It's small, but you know, it's not too small. The action is excellent in both directions. I mean, it does take a couple shakes to go ahead and get it to close, but I've been trying to fail this thing. Oh, I came close doing it there, but no, I can't get it to fail. But there are actually two issues that I have with this knife. Now, the first one is pretty minor, and it's just the like lock bar access. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it is practically flush. And then the other issue that I have is going to be, well, with the price. Not that this is a surprise, because it looks like, you know, SunCut has been slowly, their prices have been like slowly creeping up there. And I honestly don't understand how they can charge almost $54 for this when the Scepter with very similar materials. Okay, that one, the Scepter has a 9CR blade, but everything else is very similar. You know, what's that one at, like 42? All right, you ready to see it? Number one is going to be another new brand. This is from Trevisa. It's the Leo Miner. I've actually heard of this company before, but you know, I've never tried any of their knives. So yeah, this was definitely a leap of faith, and I'm glad that I did, though, because it's not a bad knife at all. I mean, it kind of reminds me, and I don't know, tell me what you think, but it kind of reminds me of like a smaller version of this, the Bestech Swordfish. So we get it's a pretty narrow, you know, 3.54 inch drop point in K110, which, you know, it is basically D2 steel. This blade stock, though, that blade stock is, it's pretty thick at like about like 3.65 millimeters. But if you notice, it does taper down. It tapers down to a pretty fine tip. The handle, contoured handle, it's comfortable and very like hand filling with a thickness of 0.61 inches. This knife does feel, it feels pretty substantial in hand, and you're really going to notice that 4.6 ounce weight. And they definitely missed an opportunity, because with these liners, they decided not to go ahead and skeletonize them. But even though, you know, it only has just the one position clip, they did at least go ahead and recess it. You can see that. Yeah, they recessed it into the G10. Even though they did use some dome screws there, but the action is really, really good. And this detent has to be like crazy strong, because I absolutely cannot get this thing to fail, no matter how light I push on that flipper tab. And then when you close it, oh yeah, she drops shut. Couple quick shakes. So for a little under $50, I think it's like 40, 46, 45. I really think that this is a pretty good deal. Right now, there's a video up on the screen that I personally picked out for you to go ahead and watch next. And if you haven't already, you know, consider subscribing. But I got to run. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. And I'll see you at the next video. Take care.